common pattern when building mobile applications using the UX component with the list control is to specify that the list control has a detail view, so that when you click on a row in the list you get to see the detail view. But the list with the detail view pattern is primarily used for situations where the data in the list needs to be updatable. But there are many applications where the detail view just needs to actually display more detail about the current row in the list, and it's not intended that the list itself be updatable. And in these cases the list with the detail view represents a much heavier component than could be done by just using a simple list that did not have a detail view and then using the Viewbox control as the detail view for the list. So you can see here we have a UX component with the list, and when I tap on a row in the list you can see that we go to another panel card where we show the details for the row that was clicked on. So in this particular case here, this detail view is actually a Viewbox control. So let's go back now and take a look at how this was done. So let's go first to our list control, and we can see here that in our list control we do not have the detail view property turned on. What we do have is we have a hyperlink here, and the hyperlink in this case is basically just going to display the value in the last name field. You can see that the hyperlink text can use placeholders. And then we've got some JavaScript for the hyperlink, and the hyperlink here you can see first gives focus to panel card number 2, and then what it does is it gets a pointer to the Viewbox control and then populates the Viewbox control with the data from the current row. So we know here that this data variable contains the data from the current row, because when we read the help text over here we can see that with the on-click event can reference data, which is a pointer to the data in the current row. So next we need to just take a look at how the Viewbox itself was configured. So we'll go now to the Viewbox. So here's our Viewbox. You can see that this Viewbox has been set to fill the container. And if we look at the Viewbox properties here, we can see that the data source for this Viewbox was initially set to just static JSON, and then over here we've just defined a dummy JSON object that represents the fields in the JSON object that we're going to use. And we create this dummy object so that when we go to the builder, to the Viewbox layout, we actually have the fields available to us. So now when we go to the layout, you can see here we're just using a standard HTML template with placeholders for the various fields in the Viewbox data. You can see these placeholders can be inserted by just going here and saying insert field, and there are all of the fields from our data object. And then we've said that this particular this data, each field has a break after the field. We've decided to put the first name field in bold, and then we've put a div around the whole thing with a border of 1 pixel, border radius of 10 pixels, a width of 95%, and a margin of 5%. So now you can see when we go here and we click on this on any particular hyperlink here, we go over to the second panel, and then the Viewbox is populated with data from the row that was clicked on. So what we've shown over here is how the Viewbox can be used as a way of displaying a very lightweight detail view for a list control. But if the data in the list control is not intended to be updatable, you might be able to replace this list control over here with the Viewbox as well, in which case you'd have a Viewbox showing a list of records, and then a second Viewbox showing data for the currently selected row in the list, and that pattern would provide an even lighter weight solution. So in the next video we're going to show how you can replace this list with another Viewbox, and so now you'll just have 2 Viewboxes, one Viewbox showing the list of records and a second Viewbox showing the detail view for the selected record.